Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And it's going to be a fun one today, at least for me. I don't know about for you guys, but this is going to be a good one because today I wanted to talk to you about how to get started. There's a lot of people that are doing, a job or a career. They're in a career. They've gone to school for something, they're locked in, and then they realize it is not what they want to be doing, what they don't love it. In fact, a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people hate their job. I was taught growing up that you had to hate your job, and that's why they pay you, and it sounds logical. However, that's not the world we live in anymore. We live in a world now where the internet has made everybody have an at-bat. You have access to everything. You can't say that your parents have held you back. You can't say that your school system's held you back. You can't say that your job's holding you back, the government's holding you back, that anybody is. Nobody is holding you back anymore. When it comes to the internet and it comes to doing what you want to do or how to start, everybody has an equal opportunity now. Everywhere in the world. It's not even just an American thing because that's a big hot topic, a hot button topic right now in America is equal opportunities. Is it better to have equal outcome or equal opportunity? And for me, I'd say every single day of my life, all day long, it's better to have equal opportunity than equal outcome, because equal outcome means that whether you try hard or you don't, you get the same outcome as somebody that does, which leaves zero incentive for you to do good, for you to do better. Equal opportunity means we all get a chance. We all get an opportunity. But what are you going to do with yours? And how do you even start in the first place? And the way I look at it is this. Listen, I don't know, whoever's listening to this, I don't know you specifically. I don't know you personally. The world is too broad, too vast for me to just cover every single career field with one episode. So what I can do is I can give you kind of the guidelines, the basics on how to get going. If you're in school, say you're young, you're in high school, even in college, and you get halfway through your degree or halfway through your doctorate or whatever the fuck you're going for, no matter where you are, if you don't like what you're doing, or if you fell out of love with it, you thought you wanted to go to school for electronics. You thought you wanted to go to school to become a doctor. You thought you wanted to go to school to become a plumber or electrical engineer, an IT department guy, even, I don't know, dance philosophy. It doesn't matter what field you wanted to go for. If it's not what you absolutely love, you should, as quickly as you can, you should get the fuck out of it. I'm talking as soon as physically possible. Here's the problem, is a lot of kids that are in college or that are getting ready to go to college, they're going to have that shit paid for by their parents or by a scholarship or by somebody else. And the hard part is how to tell that, like, whoever's paying, say your parents are paying for you to go to school. It's very difficult. I know this firsthand. It's very difficult to tell your parents you don't want to go to school anymore. It's very difficult because your parents, regardless whether they're 25 or they're 65, your parents are probably telling you that school is extremely important. Getting a degree is extremely important. It's critical for any kind of a field that you want to get into after college, any kind of job or career that you want to go to. And listen, some of them are. Like, you're not going to become a doctor by studying Google or by, just reading textbooks. You're going to need a degree in order to get into a hospital to become a medical professional. That's just the requirement. So if that's what you really want, if that's what you really love doing, is going to school and going to become a doctor, then I highly recommend you stay in school, finish it out, because that's what the necessary steps are. But if you want to go into like owning your own business, or if you want to just have a job, or you want to do some like garage sale flipping, or if you want to run your own thing, school isn't a requirement anymore. And as a matter of fact, a lot of companies with a really good culture don't even require degrees anymore for you to get in there. It's just not as important as it used to be. People want to know, your work ethic. They want to know your experience. But having a piece of paper that says you finished X amount of classes means very, very little in the grand scheme of the world. And it means very little with a lot of companies now. And that's just not what I was taught growing up. I was taught that school is extremely important. You had to go to college. You had to get a degree to even be relevant. And here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with colleges. They teach people, most of school, all the way through high school and most of college, is teaching people how to become workers for somebody else. There's not a whole lot of like good schooling teaching, especially in high school, teaching you how to live on your own, or how to become an entrepreneur, or how to run your own company, start your own business in general. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you how to manage your finances and save money and be practical with it. They don't teach you the importance of that kind of shit. Instead, they teach you, well, if you just go to school and get all these classes, you can go work for somebody. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. The problem is, if that's not what sets you on fire, if you don't want to be a worker for somebody else, then you're set up for failure right from the start. And it takes a lot of studying, it takes a lot of knowledge, it takes a lot of like wisdom and smarts to get yourself out of that if you don't have somebody else kind of beating that drum for you. My parents, they taught me how to go become a worker. They didn't teach me how to be an entrepreneur. They didn't teach me how to start my own thing. They taught me tremendously when it comes to finances. I've always been really well at saving money and shit, and it's not because I'm just so awesome. It's because I've had great mentoring from my parents. My dad is the king of saving. Of his line since I was a fucking little kid, he always said, "It's not what you make, it's what you spend." It doesn't matter. Like I used to say this one to a lot of people, and it's very one end of the spectrum to the other, but I think it makes the point. If me and you both made $100 and I saved 99 of those dollars, I only spent $1, and you spent 99 of those dollars and only saved $1, who has more money? We were both given the same amount, but now once you've spent it, and you can easily say, yeah, but I have this now. The thing is this. In the grand scheme of the world, $100 or $1,000 ain't a whole lot. It really ain't. I mean, it's a decent, don't get me wrong, it's a decent amount of money when you're living very humbly and very, your very meek lifestyle. It's good to have that. But my point is, if you can afford to live off of a very low amount, meaning you don't have a lot of bills, you don't have a lot of expenses, you don't have a lot of shitty habits like buying shit you don't need, If you can live a little more humbly, if you can save some money, it is phenomenal for your long-term effect, for your long-term happiness. And to be honest with you, the happiness thing, I don't want that to be even equated slightly to money, because it has zero to do with money. But the reason why I wanted to bring this whole angle first about the money and the finances and saving and being responsible with your money is because if you want to get started on doing something you like, then it's going to require you to either have or be able to spend a good amount of money. And see, I give immigrant families a shitload of credit, because they're brilliant. When they come to America, they don't live for buying Jordans and buying fancy ass clothing and buying Rolexes and shit. What they do is they come here, they make, no matter how much or how little they make, they save every fucking penny they can. And then when they get a big nugget of money, then they'll go and drop it on some form of an asset, something that may continually bring them money. They save and save and save until they can spend it on something big and that's meaningful that will come back to help them make more money in the long term, i.e. buying a gas station, buying a liquor store, buying some convenience store of some kind. Like we all know, that there's a lot of, I guess, immigrant-owned liquor stores and gas stations and shit. The thing about it, though, is there's a lot of people in America who will knock that. And the funny thing about it is those motherfuckers have it figured out. They're the ones doing it the smart way. They're doing it right. And see, that's basically where I was going to go with somebody who, like, if you're currently working at a job, say you're out of school, you've already done all that, or maybe you didn't go to school, it doesn't really matter. But say you have a job, you just went into a line of work that you wanted to make some money, you needed to get health insurance, you needed to get all kinds of, benefits and stuff, and you just took a job and you were like, well, I'll just do this until I'm old enough to retire, and then I'll just live off of my retirement. The problem is that if you don't do what actually makes you happy, you're going to be miserable waking up and going into work every single day, knowing that it's not what you like. It's almost like a minor version of being in prison. You feel like you're in your own little jail. You're stuck having to be there certain hours. I look at it like this. If you work for 8 hours, you get 16 hours of yard time. That's, in prison, that's what they get. They get their 1 hour of yard time every day where they get some sunlight and they get to go play out in the yard. But that is the equivalent. That's what you're doing to yourself. If you get a job that you don't like, but you're stuck there because the money's good. It doesn't matter if you're making 30 grand a year or if you're making 250 grand a year. Or over $1 million. It doesn't really matter. There are so many people in the world that are making 6, 7, 8, 9 figures a year, and they're just miserable. They're just miserable. And it should go to show everybody that if you think that somehow money is going to lead to you being happy, you are so fucking lost. You're so wrong. Money is only going to buy you more shit that eventually gets old that needs to be replaced. It's material stuff. Now, if you use it because you love to travel, like if that's your big thing is, I really love traveling to all these different places and I have to make money in order to do that, I totally get all that. But the point is if you're going to work at a place that you don't like just to make the money so you can go travel, well, then you're living for vacations. You understand? Like, you're not living for life. You're not living for Monday through Friday or Sunday through Sunday. You're living for your vacations. So you're going to be miserable all those hours in between. And you might not be miserable when you're off work. Like, say, right when we punch out, we all love that feeling. We love the feeling of just punching out and getting to go home. That's our favorite. It's one of my favorites. The problem is, I know that the next day I got to go back in. And if you don't love what you do, then that sucks every time. You know what I mean? People I talk to because I've been living this shit. You guys know, if you guys follow along, you know that I'm not, as much as I do the podcast and I love podcasting, I love helping people and I love motivational speaking and talking and helping people. It's not just motivational stuff. Like, I'm not a big rah-rah guy. I'm trying to help people take a practical approach on actually fixing their fucking life. That's what I care about. That's what I like. It's not just, I want to make you pumped for the day and then go on that's it. That's not what I'm about. I want to actually help you fix your life so you're not just happy for those 16 hours you're off work. I want you to be happy 24 fucking hours in work and out of work. And that's what I'm trying to help people do. It's so important to me because I know that there are ways to get out of this fucking chaos in this jail that we put ourselves into. But so many people either don't understand, don't know, or they haven't been taught. It's not your fault. Listen, I told you I was taught wrong my whole life, and I don't blame my parents for teaching me that way. I don't want to blame anybody. It's just that was the time. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. That was your only option. There was no fucking internet. There was no cell phones. There was no apps. There was no social media. You couldn't build a brand on a phone. You didn't even have phones. Like, you had a landline. Unless you're a telemarketer calling people's homes all fucking hours of the day, there was no hope. You had to have a bunch of money up front. You had to have money that you could put down on an actual storefront, an actual physical location, and then you had to hope that the local people around you shopped there enough to feed your family, to support your living, your life. It's not like that anymore. You can build anything on the internet in your spare time. It's going to take a while. You need to have patience. And that's the one big key that I can't force on anybody. It's many things I can't force on anybody, but that's one thing that I think is extraordinarily crucial that people don't get is anything worthwhile, anything important to you, anything that you love in your life, it takes time to get there. Nobody sees something and immediately that's all they care about. It just doesn't happen. It takes time. Everything that you value in life doesn't just happen overnight. Like, I got a good buddy of mine who loves Batman. He's always been a huge Batman fan. That shit didn't happen overnight for him. He didn't see the bat signal one damn time and was like, that's it, I'm a lifelong fan forever. It took stories and comics and the whole lore of it. It took a lifetime of building to where he's at now. You know what I mean? And I know that a comic book hero may be a silly example to some, but that is very, very fucking relevant. For me, it's Superman. I loved Superman my whole damn life. But I didn't care about Superman like when I was 3. The way that I think about it now, it's a totally different thing. And the same thing with my wife. The day I met her, I didn't feel the same way about her that day as I do now. I love her way more now. And the same with my child. Like, as my child gets older, I'm sure I'm going to love her more and more and more. Maybe not in the teenage years when she's being an asshole to me, but I'll love her more and more. I mean, every day that passes, it feels like I love her more and more. So the point is this. You have to have the patience to understand that nothing valuable, nothing important, nothing that you want badly is going to happen overnight. It's very, very, very fucking rare. So you can't bank on that. You can't rely on that. You have to understand your relationship with time. If you're under 50, you got another fucking life ahead of you. You got another 50 years to go. If you're 50, you got another 50 to go. Can you understand that? Like, if you're 50 years old, you know that you've seen a lot of shit. You've been through a lot. You've seen a lot. You've gone through a lot of changes. The world has changed dramatically in 50 years. Now imagine timesing that by 2. That's how much time you got left. At least. And obviously I know that there's accidents can happen, things can happen and shit. We all know that. But I'm just saying, if nothing bad if you live under normal circumstances, you stay healthy, you get the right treatments, medicine, all that stuff, you could fucking live to over 100. People do it now. Imagine 50 years from now. What kind of technology and medicine we're going to have. It's very likely that people live to be 100. Outside of, random accidental things, tragedies. But the point is, what if those don't happen? Because a lot of you right now is like, well, I'm probably not going to live to 100. Well, what if you do, though? Then what? You want to just waste all this time, thinking that you're probably not going to live that long? What if you do live that long, and then you look back and you're like, fuck, if I would have just started 50 years ago, who knows what I'd have today? You guys, you got to understand the relationship with time is critical. You need to know you need to understand the value of patience. You're going to hit highs and lows. It's going to be like the stock market. Anything that you want to invest your time into now, it's going to be the stock market. You're going to have your up moments. You're going to have your down moments. The key, though, is to not get rid of it, to not sell, to not drop out. You know, like a lot, you know how many people, like when the stock market starts going down, they sell then? That's the worst fucking time to sell. Anybody that knows investing knows that. You don't sell when it's low. You buy low, you sell high. But the problem is sometimes we like to just, when things are high, you kind of just ride that wave, and you don't want to sell then because things are up. You're like, well, how high up can it go? If I sell now, maybe I'm missing out on a lot. That's how the stock market works. The same thing's going to go for you, whatever career or schooling or business you want to start, a relationship you're in. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. The key is to just stay in there. Keep grinding. Keep going. If you want it bad enough, if you like it bad enough, if it's something you love, why wouldn't you keep going? Why would you give up the first time things get a little rough, you know? It's just, the key though is that if you're working a job or if you're in school for something you don't like, I'm not saying just immediately quit today and then get cracking on whatever you're doing. What I'm saying is, if you're at a job that you don't like or that you just really wish, you really love doing this, but it's only a hobby for you, what you do is you go work your job. You take care of your family, you take care of your needs, your bills, your all that stuff. You take care of what needs to get taken care of. Don't shit away the opportunity of making that money, especially if it's decent money. Now, if you're just working at like McDonald's or Wendy's or Panera, where you can easily just quit there and go find another job making $7, $8, $9, $10 an hour, then I would say quit that shit immediately. Figure out what you want to do. Or don't. I mean, stay there if that's all you, if you don't want to change things up, if you're comfortable, if you're not willing to quit the job because you're comfortable, maybe you like the people, maybe you like the environment, maybe you don't care about the money, maybe the money's not the big issue, then I would say to stay there, handle your bills, handle your business. But when you get home, stop jumping on Netflix for 6 hours to binge watch something. Stop jumping on PlayStation or Xbox or your computer to play video games. Stop reading all this bullshit and watching all these TV shows and waste, with leisure time. We all want to escape. We all want to, it's called escapism. That's what you're doing. When you want to sit around and play video games, or you want to watch movies, or you want to sit on Netflix or Hulu, and you want to just sit in your room listening to music, that's escapism. And we all need a little bit of that. We all need a little bit of break here and there. But don't make it your everyday, all fucking night routine. Like, you have to take some of your time. This is how you start. Now we're getting into it finally. Sorry I dragged this for so long, but this is the important part. I think all of it is very important, but this is the big one. If you have to start doing whatever it is that you like. If you love buying and selling used yo-yos, right? Crazy example, I know. But if that's your fucking passion, that's what you just love, old ass yo-yos, and you just love collecting them, you then slowly start buying them. When you have the money, don't waste all your fucking bank account day one. Like I said, make sure your bills are handled first. Take care of your loved ones, the ones that you need to take care of. But don't waste all your money on dumb shit you don't need, like buying fancy clothing, fancy jewelry, fancy fucking shoes, or a new car if you don't need to. Stop living above your means. If you have if your house payment is too expensive, try to get a cheaper, smaller house if you can. Now, if you're taking care of a family and your family's happy, don't sacrifice things that you don't have to. But all I'm trying to say is use your money, use your time, use your energy wisely to start doing little by little, if you have to, what you want. If you love fucking watching, old cartoons of the fucking 90s, and you like Ninja Turtles, if you're the best Ninja Turtle expert, you can easily start a YouTube channel. You can easily buy those same yo-yos I was talking about. You can buy these old ass yo-yos, make video of them, describe in your video how you are, where you got it from, why it's important, why it's old, when it was made. If this is your thing, even if you're a comic book collector, if you're a video game player, you want to go on Twitch, do these things, but make videos that people will want to watch about the thing that you're doing if you love it. Or if you just love buying and selling shit, go on Facebook Marketplace, go on Craigslist, go on, Let Go, I think is another one. Go to garage sales or flea markets, buy really cheap stuff that you know you can sell for a little more. Like, look it up online. Look up, my wife got a couple of these plates from a garage sale. I didn't know how expensive they were. I looked them up. She bought these motherfuckers for $2. They're worth $50 a piece. Now, I didn't know that, and she didn't even know that when she bought them. She just thought that they were nice. They looked like antique. She was like, hey, they're only $2. I'll buy this. Even if you could only get $2, it wasn't that big of a loss, was it? $2, you know? So the point is, there are so many options to do, especially with the internet, with your cell phone, with social media. You could build a brand. You could build a business, advertise the shit out of it all over social medias, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. You can do it on everything. But the biggest fucking key element about any of it is you have to start. You have to take time out of your day. Your free time needs to be put towards making this shit happen. Now, if you don't put in the work, you don't put in the time, it's never going to happen. You're not just going to wake up one day and somebody's going to be banging at your door going, hey, can you do exactly what you've always dreamed of now? I'm here to offer that for you. It just doesn't happen. Like, I'm a firm believer that, you know, there's like destiny and fate, and that for me personally, I believe in God. I think God's guiding me, and I think that he's always has my back, and he's always got, you know, I have zero reason at this point in my life, and I'm not trying to push religion on anybody. Believe what you want. For me personally, I just have seen too much of what I believe to be either coincidental, which I don't believe that there's that many damn coincidences, or I believe that there's some being above myself that's guiding me in this direction. And it's never steered me wrong. It's never made me, I've never had any negative experience to blame God. You know what I mean? But regardless, that's not the point. The point is, I do believe that things are going to happen. However, I don't believe you're going to hit the lottery if you don't play. I don't believe you're going to hit a home run if you don't step up to the plate. I don't believe you're going to start a new business if you don't put in any effort or care or time or nothing, any of that. The point is, in my opinion, if God is watching, if he's taking care of this, or if he's got your back, you got to meet him halfway. You got to put in the time and the effort. You have to actually try. You're not just going to have somebody walk up and hand you everything right out the gate. Put yourself into a position where good things can happen. And if you want it bad enough, if you like something, but this is why I always preach that you have to like it, because you're only going to put in that kind of time and effort if you actually enjoy what you're doing. Every time somebody gets into this habit of wanting to do something because they know it makes money, they get burned out, because it's not something that sets them on fire. When you are restricted to having to work, regardless what kind of money you make out of it, when you are living on somebody else's terms, meaning I have to do this or I won't get this, then that's it can be damaging to your psyche. It can be extremely stressful. It can cause great depression. But now if you have something that you just love to do, like I love talking, I love doing this podcast, I love helping people, I don't give a fuck if I'm getting paid for it or not. And you know how many people I know, because I'm in these little podcast groups and stuff on Facebook and all these things that, like, you know, we talk to each other, we communicate, we help each other out. We're sometimes guests on other shows and things like that. But do you know how many people I run into that are podcasting purely with the intention of, hey, how can I get more sponsors? How can I get more ad revenue? How can I have more funneling for my business and blah, 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 blah. It's all questions about how they can make more money. It's zero to do with how I can get out information to help people. And that's where I honestly feel like I'm going to succeed, because my drive for helping people far exceeds my love of money. I don't give a fuck about money. I just don't want my family to be broke or homeless. I don't care if I always live in a one-story ranch, 1,100 square foot home. I don't care if I always drive a fucking 9-year-old vehicle, as long as that damn thing runs and it's reliable. I don't care if I never have a fucking yacht or a mansion. I know there's a lot of people that say it, but if you've watched my life pan out and you watch the way I manage money, you would know that I'm not lying. You would know that everything I've been telling you is 100% the fucking truth. That's the only reason I even started doing any of this, is so I can try to help somebody, because I feel so incredibly blessed that I've gotten help the way that I have. It's almost like I feel responsible for giving back. And I don't. It's not like there's any pressure on me. Nobody's making me do this. Nobody ever had. Like, shit, you have no idea how many people that are very close to me have no idea I'm even doing this at all. It's wild. My own family. Most of my family has no idea that I'm doing this. And it's fine, because I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for praise. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm doing it purely because I want to help you fix your shit. If you have problems, I would love to help you. I mean it. That's why I encourage every fucking episode. If you get to the end of an episode and you hear how I end every fucking episode, you'll know that I say the same shit over and over. It's, please, even if you disagree with me, even if you hate me, even if you think I'm wrong, please get a hold of me, contact me. I want to hear your side. I want to hear your perspective. I want to know if this is helping you at all. And if it's not, if you feel like something I'm saying is wrong or damaging, please help me correct that, because that's not my intention. I don't want to be fucking people over. I don't want to get people's hopes up for nothing. I want to genuinely help you live a happy, purpose-filled, meaningful life. And if I can do that, whether you're 10 years old or you're 90 years old, if I can help you get to that place of pure happiness, of being excited to wake up every fucking day, then I'm going to continue doing this the rest of my damn life to try to help every single person I possibly can. That's my goal. So wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing, if it's not fulfilling to you, if it's not making you happy, if this is not the career or the schooling or the life that you had envisioned for yourself, if this is not your plan, then I want to help you get to do your plan. I want to help you map that shit out. I want to help you from start to finish get exactly where you're trying to be, or at least on the right path. Because to be honest with you, there is no destination called happiness. It's not a destination. So many people have that fucked up. They're like, oh, if I can just get this, I'll be happy. If I can just get this, I'll be happy. No, it's not about getting this or getting that. It's about enjoying the experience you're having on this fucking planet. It's about waking up every day being thrilled that you even get this opportunity to breathe in 2020. That you even get to walk the earth. That you even get to enjoy waking up, opening your eyes, and shit, here you are. Here is your existence. Because 100 years ago, you weren't here. 100 years from now, you might not be. We may not have AI or the artificial where you can take your consciousness and put it into a robot and live forever. That shit may never happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. What I want for you is to be able to enjoy every second that you have breath in your fucking lungs. That's where we all need to be. And unfortunately for me, it took me 34 years to figure out how I needed to make that happen for myself so I could then give that to somebody else. I've been blessed with tons of phenomenal information from other people. I've been blessed with the ability to want to listen, to want to be better. My parents and my grandma, and I'm not just saying people that like to fluff and make me feel good about myself. I'm talking legit people that are being honest with me, have said that one of the things that I do that very few people do is listen. I've always listened. I've always wanted to listen, because I don't think you figure shit out by talking. I think you figure it out by listening. And I've always wanted to figure shit out. That's been my lifelong goal. Facts, truth, logic, figuring shit out. I don't give a fuck I don't give a fuck what is or that something is the way it is. What I care about is why is it the way it is. That has always meant infinitely more to me than anything else. Why is everything the way it is? Why are you here right now? Why is the earth where it is? Why is it the way it is? Why are we here in 2020? What got us here? Why is science the way it is? Why do things react the way they do? I've always wanted to know everything. It's a blessing and a curse, because I'll never know everything, but I want to badly. So if you can DM me or PM me or leave me a voice message or call me on the phone or email me or whatever the fuck you got to do. If you want to give me some questions, if you want any help at all or advice, I would be honored to try to help you get to that place. But if you don't trust me, if you don't want me, if you don't think that I know, that's fine too. No judgment. I get it. I'm just another human being. But if there's any way I can give you any advice or any help to get you to where you want to be, please throw that shit at me and see if I can help. Maybe I can't. I guess we'll only know if we try. But as far as you and what you want done with your life, it ain't going to happen unless you start. If you want to change your life, start. Even if it's small. Listen, I've told people this a million times. If you want to start if you want to only spend 5 minutes a day on your new company, your new venture, your new, whatever it is that you're trying to do, then do that. If you want to spend very little money, very little bit of time, very little bit of effort, that's fine. If you want to binge watch Netflix for 5.5 hours instead of 6, that's awesome. That's fine. But if you still spend 6 hours and you don't spend any time at all studying, learning, challenging yourself, starting something new, if it's a new business that you want to start saving your money little by little, even if it's $1 a day. Then it turns to $2. Then it'll turn to $5, then $10, then $20, then $100. You start. And when it starts becoming like where you can't stop because you love it so much, you're on the right path. So just start. Whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to start a blog, you want to start your own makeup tutorials on YouTube, you want to start your own house cleaning service, lawn care service, you want to start your own fucking brick and mortar business, like a restaurant. You want to start your own restaurant. You want to start your own clothing company. Anything that you want to do. I got a friend that actually started making, what are they called? The cornhole boards. Like the ramps with the holes in it to throw the beanbags in. I got a friend who started doing that. Why? Not because he had to. He thought it would be fun. I got friends that build model cars. I used to all the time when I was like 13, 14, 15. I used to love it. And then I got away from it. I've dabbled in so much shit that I don't do any. Like I tried snowboarding for a winter. I did it like 3 times. I fell, hurt my knee. I was like, well, it's not all it's cracked up to be. But I didn't love it as much as some people do. If you love it, keep fucking doing it. And one thing that people need to get that I want to make sure that I get across before I wrap this up is don't ever do it for the money. If you want to start a drone photography business, but the only reason you want to do it is because you want to make $100,000 a year, you've already lost. It's not happening for you. Because you're going to be trying to figure out sneaky ways, and you're going to try to figure out little hacks on how to make money, and not about the craft. It needs to be about the craft. You know why the one thing in common that every Hall of Fame athlete has? They fucking loved it. There ain't nobody in the Hall of Fame that hated doing what they do. It's just a truth. Nobody ever puts in that kind of time and hard work and effort to being that damn good when they fucking hate something. It doesn't happen. And that's another lesson for all of you. If you want everything now, if you want it to be now, you don't have patience. Remember this shit. Every athlete you've ever heard of that's in the pros, that's getting paid to do it, think about how long they had to work at that craft before they ever got paid. The best athletes might get paid, like say tennis. They're some of the younger athletes that get paid. They're like 17, 18 years old when they start getting paid. I guarantee you they didn't start when they were 15. They fucking started. These tennis athletes like Serena and Venus, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Djokovic, any of these guys that you may or may not have heard of, they're Hall of Fame. And they've been doing it since they were like 2 years old, 3, 4, 5 years old. They didn't get paid for at least a decade, 15 years, 20 years. They worked at something tirelessly for their entire childhood, for like 15 years on average minimum, before they ever got paid anything. So keep that shit in mind. The best athletes in the world usually work for a decade and a half to a decade without getting paid before they finally start getting paid. So that's the kind of patience I'm talking about. And if you can't this is why I say you have to love it. That's why you have to love it. Because if you don't love it, you ain't going to be willing to put in 10 years of work for free or for very little money. You need to love it if you're going to be riding in the shit as well as riding when it's the best. You got to love it. So whatever you plan on starting, whether it's school, whether it's a business, whether it's a new job, whether it's a hobby, whether it's making videos on YouTube, whether it's garage sale flipping, whatever the fuck it is that you're trying to get into, you better make sure you love it, and you better make sure that you're willing to put in the time, a lot of fucking time, before it ever blows up and basically replaces your salary now. But at least, if you love it, you also have the chance to be great at it. Because most people don't love something that they're absolutely terrible at. And even if you do love it when you're very terrible, you eventually become not terrible because you love it so much, you do it a lot. Practice makes perfect. We all know this. But you got to start with what you love. You have to. You got to be passionate about it or it ain't going to go anywhere. But you got to be willing to put in the time too. It takes patience, passion, and perspective. Those 3 P's I think are fucking incredibly big. Patience, passion, and perspective. You got to know that you have it good. You got to know that if you have the opportunity to work at a job you don't even like while funding the job that you're trying to get into, oh, it's beautiful. And you also have to have humility to know that, look, there may be somebody that's in that position and that's what you want. Have the humility to give credit where it's due, to honor the ones that came before you. If you want to get into, like for me, like motivational speaking or public speaking or just going around and talking to crowds, nobody's just going to hire me off the fact that I want to. You know, I have to make connections. I have to show people the value. I have to show them what I'm capable of. Nobody's just going to look at my Instagram profile and be like, yeah, this guy should be a motivational speaker forever. You have no idea how I speak or how I talk or the cadence. You have no idea how I communicate with others. I wouldn't expect anybody to look at a bunch of pictures or memes or GIFs or videos and be like, yep, that's the one. That's the guy that should be talking. Maybe videos, because then you could probably see me speak. But the point is, you're not going to see a bunch of pictures and be like, yep, we should put that person in front of a crowd of 10,000. You know? Or if you want to be the new, like, I got a guy that I work with who's big into collectibles. He has all kinds of collectible stuff, like whether it's like, I don't want to say dolls like Barbies or whatever, but like he's got like Chucky dolls. He's got like different action figures, all kinds of different like movies or collectibles that he'll take to have them signed and things. This guy could make a killing if he made his own YouTube page. If he made his own page and started taking a 5 to 10 minute video of each individual collectible, said where he got them from, which, this one's number 3 of 482. I bought it on this date from this guy at this trade show, and at the time the value was only this, and I paid this much at the time, but the value went up, and now this is what I want in return. If that guy did those kinds of things, the guy'd make a fucking killing. But he has zero interest in doing that, which is fine because he likes collecting. That's cool. So you don't have to make money, but if you're going to do something that you love, or if you want to do something you love, then you have to actually put in the time and effort. You have to. So, I don't know, wherever it is that you are, or whatever it is that you're trying to get into, just try to reverse engineer how to get there. Look at the end goal of what you're trying to accomplish or where you're trying to be, and then figure out, well, how could I get there? What are the necessary steps that it would take to get there? And do that. And listen, guys, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me about this, please get a hold of me. Because I got to go anyway, so this is a perfect way to segue into wrapping this shit up. But please get a hold of me. If you have any questions, I will gladly help for free. I'm not going to charge people for help. I can't stand the whole master. Oh, if you buy my master class, I'll give me $300 and maybe I'll tell you what I did. That's fucking, fuck you. I can't stand it. That's hucksters. That's people that just want to take your money. They have zero fucking talent, zero credibility. They just dress themselves up in front of a camera and say, give me money and maybe I'll tell you secrets. Fuck every one of those people. And I don't even care if you're listening to this and you don't like me because I said it. It's just the truth. You're clearly scamming people, and that's bullshit. If you're listening to this and you want free advice, meaning I am not going to take your fucking social security. I'm not going to take your credit card number. I don't give a fuck about your money. If you want free fucking advice, please get a hold of me. DM, PM, email, I don't care, voice message. I don't care if you got to write me a damn letter. Please get a hold of me. I will gladly help you for free because that means infinitely more important to me than any fucking amount of money you could ever give me. So please get a hold of me, guys. If you want to leave me a voice message, you can do that through the Anchor app. Or if you want to get a hold of me on any of the social medias, on Instagram, you can get a hold of me at Really Rich Podcast. On Twitter, it's Really Rich Adam. On Snapchat and YouTube, it's Really Rich. And on on TikTok, it's Adam Rich. Or on LinkedIn, you can find me, Adam Rich, founder and host of Really Rich Podcast. Please, people, get a hold of me. Ask me anything you want. Love me, hate me, comments, concerns, questions, even shit talk. If you want to just lay it on me, I'm good. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. So I'd love to hear from you guys, and hopefully something I've said in any one of these episodes is very helpful for you. I love you, and I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Peace. I'm out of here.